It's like one of the most stunning movies ever. So I'm working on this grant application for a post-production grant for my short film. And this one has like a lot of questions. So what I'm going to do is go to Reddit. I'm going to look up some of these questions and see what people are saying about how to apply for grants. I'm just so not like a essay writing person. I found 2 really great answers from Reddit about 2 of the questions that I was very stressed about. That sound, if you can hear it, is my cat on his scratch pad. But I'm mad at him. We're not on speaking terms right now. When pitching your script, how do you respond to the question, why you? Why are you the one to tell this story? That's not actually one of the questions, but it's like very similar to that. And this answer on Reddit from... Frick, I deleted the person's name. Okay, I'm gonna go look back and try to find this person's Reddit name. They gave an example of the 7 Fishes episode of The Bear. And they said, an example is to say, I came from a family that has deep-seated unaddressed mental health issues, myself included. So I'm writing about the Berzato family by pulling from my own experiences. That's like an idea for something that they would answer the question with. Then they go on and they say, and let me tell you, there is no way that the 7 Fishes scene was written by somebody who hadn't experienced that firsthand. I was getting flashbacks to family dinners during the episode. I have never seen a show so perfectly encapsulate my family before. This person's definitely Italian. Basically, what I'm saying is just another form of write what you know. So my friend, who are you? What makes you you? What are your lived experiences? Which of those experiences are you pulling from in your writing? And which of those experiences are driving this need to write this particular thing? Why are you the person who should be writing this? Why is this subject the perfect one for you to write? Why is this your story? What part of you is folded up within the story? And let me tell you, if you can't answer those questions from a place of honesty, this isn't the story to write. Your best writing will come from a place of vulnerability. I thought that sentence was the best part of this. And of course, this person's probably a great writer because they left it for last. I think that it's going to help me a lot. I already have some ideas and I wrote some down. I think that I can talk a little bit about my personal connection to the main character's inability to has a hard time being serious and kind of wants everything to be funny. And I can talk a little bit about that. I'm like, well, this question that they're actually asking is about the team's connection to the story. I'm not a basketball player, but I can talk about my connection to the basketball community. I can talk about my connection to the community of my hometown, and I can talk about like involving those people that live there and like that network of like film people. That's pretty good because talking a little bit about the core creative team, not just me, I think will be super helpful. I'm not sure. Okay, so they asked about like the creative vision, like an artistic statement kind of. I think this question always is really tricky, especially when like the film is already done, because I feel like it's a little bit easier to be like, I would like to and I'm going to, other than like I have, like to talk about it in like past tense. I'll read you what I found on Reddit that I thought was really helpful. Think about the word vision, to see. It's what you literally see in your head. That's your vision. The script has the locations, characters, and words, but how does it look? How will it be cast? What makes it different? Makes it similar to other projects? What are your inspirations for the sets, locations, the vehicles? What's the color palette? Are the stunts believable or over the top? Is the makeup glamorous, invisible, unsettling? What time of day are you shooting? What's the weather? Time of year? Do the streets have Christmas lights or autumn leaves? Are the performances larger than life, restrained, unrestrained? Is there a backstory you have imagined that will give the characters more context? Is there a credit sequence? What does it look like? Will the color grade be subtle or stylized? Everything they can't see in the script has to be seen by someone, the director, so it has to be communicated. When someone asks for your vision, that is what they want. And the name of this person on Reddit is Thackham. Thackkham. Thank you, Thackham. And this was posted a year ago. I really like that answer a lot, and I think that's great. The opening of my short film kind of gives a lot of the backstory of one of the main characters, so I can talk about that. But what I had written about was kind of that I wanted the tone to start kind of tense and then lead up to being more sweet and like familial and warm. And I kind of want this to be like sweet and cozy, like comfort, like not Hallmark movie, but like kind of in like the tone of a rom-com or like a 90s like TV movie almost. I don't know if that's a good answer. I guess I can touch on how like stuff happens, but it's all emotional. Like nothing really happens. It's not like very plot heavy. I have a lot to think about, but yeah, I'll definitely talk a little bit about color correction and sound and editing, and maybe a little bit about how I directed actors. You're so cute. I don't want to like harp on the fact that this is a proof of concept for a feature film too much. Like I feel like it's like, okay, like, but this is for the short film, so I have to treat it as like a standalone movie. I think that will help this application a lot. I think for the other applications, for all the ones I got rejected from, I talked about it as if I was like looking for funding for the feature, which I'm not. So I think I need to treat this as a standalone work because I want them to want to support this. Pajama time. I'm reading this book called The Wisdom of the Enneagram. So I don't really love personality typing for like real people, but I heard about people like from YouTube using Enneagram for writing and creating characters, and I thought it was pretty interesting just because there's so many different types. So I started to get into it and read about all the different types, not from this book, from another book called The Millenniagram. And as I was reading this book, it like very powerfully, I guess, dawned on me that I am indeed a type 4. And it's like kind of terrible and I kind of hate it, but it is what it is. There is no way I'm anything else but a 4. Anyway, this isn't about me though, because I've been reading about all the other types, trying to see if it will help me a little bit with creating characters for this script I'm working on and maybe for like the next one. They're not called character arcs because it's like advice for real people, but different ways that people act and how they can change and how like real examples of behaviors and growth patterns is what they call them. I think it's really interesting and really great for storytelling and character creation, character arcs. I'm positive that the like antagonist character, like the love interest, the other main character, is an 8. Learning about the type 8 made me realize a lot of things about this character and how I wanted him to be. And like, for example, type 8s do not care what people think of them is like a big part of their personality. I'm starting to think now, because I was so positive that this character is definitely an 8. He doesn't care about what anyone thinks of him. He has to be in control of every situation. And when he makes bonds with people, they're really special, they're really intense. He doesn't open up to many people, but when he does, like, you are his friend for life, you're like in his world, and if someone betrays him, it's like the worst possible thing that can happen. Of course, a big betrayal does happen in the story to him. And he's like my favorite character ever. Learning about the type 8 made me realize like a lot of what I want him to go through and the way I want him to be misunderstood by other characters. He knows what he really wants to do, but he knows it might disappoint a lot of people. And when he's like trying to figure out what he's going to do, some of the other characters in the story like are thinking that he is feeling like low confidence, or that he is thinking he can't do it, like he can't go after this really big goal, but really he just isn't sure that it's like in aligned with what he really wants in life. And he gets really frustrated with people because he's like, of course I have self-confidence. Like, of course I know I can do everything. It's just, what if it's not what I want to do? I could probably tell that story a little bit better, but the enneagram made me realize that that was like what I was getting at. I just wasn't really sure how to like show it. So that was really helpful to read about. There's 2 main characters and 2 side characters in my story, and she's like the third main character kind of, but she's a side character. Reading about the type 7 made me really want to illustrate a character arc of the type 7 with her. Like, she is this fun, like high energy, really passionate kind of foil to the main character. So also, I don't really understand the Enneagram completely, but the 7 I think I get, and I want to illustrate that through Mella's character. She like brings out in Nikki, the main character, like the point of view character, she like brings out this other side of him that's like more ambitious and passionate and has goals, and she is easy to hang out with for him, and he likes to be around her because she's so fun and doesn't talk about feelings and doesn't really make him get deeper. She's like pretty avoidant and doesn't want to deal with her feelings and like distracts herself, and he finds that really fun as they get closer throughout the story. But it gets to a point where this becomes a problem. But I really like the type 7 kind of growth path of like having to face your feelings and your problems, and you can't just keep running away from them and distracting yourself with fun stuff. I think that's really cool. It enforces a lot of the themes that I want to write about. So learning more about the type 7 definitely helped me figure out her scenes and her character arc. It's really fun to write sub-characters with the Enneagram. I also like, it's fiction, so I think these are more based on like real life behaviors. So I can kind of do whatever I want. Sorry if I look like a dying Victorian child. I'm like exhausted because I had to wake up very early for a work event today. And I have a mini book haul of 3 books, which actually isn't mini at all. It's the screenplay To Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. But it's actually really, really cool because he wrote the whole script by hand, I guess, in like a very short amount of time. It says started March 1st, 1988, Brooklyn, New York, finished March 16th, 1988. I cannot imagine having that mind. Oh, also he's credited as the only writer. I cannot imagine having that mind to be able to write not only this entire script, but to write it by hand in like a little over 2 weeks. And it has really cool interviews and like behind the scenes pictures. But it's just so cool. It's like one of the most stunning movies ever. Anyway, really, really cool thing to have. And the 2 other books I got from the library. So this first one is called Excavations. I think I was recommended this on TikTok. I think it came up. So I'm excited about this. I do love political corruption in books, but I think it's going to be really interesting to read about. I also really appreciate how big these letters are, not because I have one brain cell, but like, so I think I'll finish this book so quick. And this is the one I'm most excited about. It's a young adult novel. I'm expecting very big font in here. Here's our mini book haul. Okay, I am going to make some steaks for dinner. I have been very inspired, like so excited about my story, so excited to write. Just like, I felt like I had so much to add. For like weeks, I was thinking about my characters all the time. And then recently, it's been like nothing. I have no motivation or inspiration or anything. That is a great sign that it's time to take a break. And as someone who's been working on a story for a very long time, it doesn't feel good to take a break because I want to finish it so bad and it feels like I'm wasting time by not working on it. What has really helped that anxiety is to have a timeline. I'm very close to finishing the story, so I think I will finish it, and I think I can relax and just take a break for a minute because, like, it's fine. I don't want to force myself to write and then end up with scenes that I have to revise or take out. And I know it's a good thing sometimes to force yourself to write, but right now I'm like, I'm truly not feeling it. Like, if I was in the mood to go ahead and like revise and I felt like reading, maybe I would force myself to write. But no. This morning I actually did have a couple notes for myself, which was good. I was thinking a bit about the characters, but it wasn't in like a creative new ideas way. It was like I was thinking about like this specific scene that is like basketball related, so I don't know too much about like what would realistically happen in that situation I'm writing. So that was good that I was thinking about something less like emotional and more like logistical. Anyway, I do think I need a break. Like, even just talking about it, I'm just like giving myself anxiety. So I'm going to take a break from writing, at least for tonight, probably for the whole weekend. I'm gonna make a steak, watch Pretty Little Liars, and just not worry about it. And I think if I don't think about it for a couple days, I'll come back like much more fresh-minded. Fresh-minded? Is that a word? Well, when I come back to it, I think I'll have more ideas. Like, I'll be able to see more things and have like a newer perspective on some things.